We all know that this living world have been formed 4.5 billion years ago. That is 14 billion years ago. Billion years ago in the sense 10 to the power 9 years ago. They can be written as BYA. The universe have been formed. Our universe have been formed 14 billion years ago. After that, what happens? The solar system have been formed around 5 billion years ago. 5 billion years ago. Whereas our Earth, our mother Earth, have been formed around 4.5 billion years ago. Yes. But do you believe, friends, when it is formed, it is not in the present form. Okay. As you see in the picture, this is not the actual picture, but we can imagine that the Earth is the Earth is having a full amount of volcanic storms of carbon dioxide soup, okay, hot soup. So there is no possibility of the life when the Earth have been formed. Later on, around 4 billion years ago, that is 500 million years later, 500 million years ago later, 10 to the power 6, it's called million, right? Water have been formed. The ultimate source of energy, water have been formed. So water is very crucial, right? Because without water, none of the life cannot be created. So 90% of our body is made up of water. We all know. So it is having an evolutionary relationship that uh, life even has started with water. Life even has started with water. So whatever the organisms which is having high extreme conditions like high salt or high temperature have also existed. Okay. So as a starting point, the life have been formed from water, as I said before in the previous slide. Water, that those are called aquatic organisms. Then what happened? They have formed terrestrial organisms. From aquatic, the organisms have moved into land. So those things are called terrestrial organisms. After terrestrial organisms have came to land, lot number of changes have been happened. As you observe here, uh, animals have transformed themselves into amphibians. First of all, animals have transformed themselves into what? Amphibians. Means it requires both land and water. In the case of frogs, you may observe, and they will use water for breeding. That's the reason only during rainy season you can see a lot of tadpoles in the ponds. The same way, organisms have also started to crawl. As you see the snake picture, they also started to crawl. Those are called as reptiles. Those are called as reptiles. And very importantly, there is another group of organisms which started flying. Those are called as aves. Aves are birds. Fine. So as I said, there are few categories. First, they are called amphibians, where they use both land and water. Let us put it that as a two, because the number one might be pisces, the organisms which live entirely in the aquatic life. They are called pisces. The second thing is called amphibians. The third thing which is able to fly is called aves, and which can be able to crawl. The snake, for example, are called reptiles. And the fifth one belong to our category called mammals. We all know, friends, mammals are none other than organisms which can give birth to young ones, and they won't lay eggs. Whereas these reptiles, amphibians, and pisces, aves, all the other four vertebrates, they all lay eggs. So if they lay eggs, we have a special name, you guys. Hope you remember. They are called oviparous. Those are all called oviparous. But whereas the organisms which give birth to young ones are called as viviparous. Organisms which lay eggs are called as oviparous. The organisms which give birth to young ones are called as viviparous. So many diversity have happened. But the beauty of it, the life is so diverse in both habitat and form. But have you ever thought we have unity among everything? So what's the unity, my dear friends? The unity is none other than unity in diversity that is in our DNA. Right from bacteria to modern humans, all the organisms are made up of same four set of alphabets. As you see in the picture, A, T, G, C are the four sets of alphabets, right? So what are these A, T, G, C? These are the nucleotides: adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, and uracil. Okay. In the case of DNA, it is called cytosine. In the case of RNA, it is called uracil. Okay, your acid. So all the organisms are made up of four set of chemicals. So that's a beauty. So we might be morphologically divided. That is external appearance. We might be looking different. But in the case of internal thing, we are all same. That is unity in diversity. So my dear friends, in this particular slide, we are going to see about the important properties of life. So life as a total have five important exclusive features. You being a living organisms definitely are going to be different from the non-living substances. For example, we are sitting on a chair, right? Imagine, my dear friends, after 5 years, uh, we we come back and see the chair. The chair remains the same. But what about us? We will definitely be different from what we are 5 years before, right? Because we are keep on growing. Okay, this growth is very obvious in the case of plants, where you can see a seedling grown into a plant and later on a big tree. So growth is an exclusive feature. Okay, here comes the question, whether growth is the only exclusive feature? No, because some substance we keep on growing, but we can't claim them as a living being. Example, let us keep a stone, okay, rolling in a mountain consists of lot of snow. When the stone reaches the bottom, of course, the stone will accumulate lot of mass from the snow. We can't claim this is growth, right? Even the mass having increased, this growth is not a feature of a living substance because the growth here is external. What about the feature, friends? The growth here is external, whereas the growth occurs in us is called internal growth. Internal growth. Fine. Moving on. The second feature of life is reproduction. Okay. What is the specialty about reproduction? Because organisms have to be keep on reproducing themselves to produce their progeny. Imagine a human being have a lifespan of only 60 years. At the max, he can live for 100 years. But what would happen if he is not reproducing further? The whole species will dead, right? So reproduction is important for keeping the speciation alive. If every species have to survive, it should keep on having their progenies. But again, this reproduction cannot be claimed as an exclusive feature of a living organisms because we know, friends, in the case of honeybees, we know certain uh, three categories are there, right? For example, queen bees, drones, or worker bees, in which queen bee is only fertile, and of course the drone. But whereas the worker bee is not fertile. So being it is not fertile, we can't claim it is a living organism, right? It is not a living organism, right? So always all the organisms are living only. But this is an assumption. So again, reproduction cannot be claimed as an exclusive feature of living organisms. Then which can be claimed as an exclusive feature? Of course, metabolism. Metabolism is an exclusive feature of living organisms. This metabolism is of two types, catabolism and anabolism. Catabolism and anabolism. Okay. In India, we consider cat as a negative symbol, right? In my home, even they will say, if any cat crosses, always stop for a few minutes and go later. Okay. For imagining purpose, we may have, or for memorizing purpose, we have cat means negative. And Anai in the sense in Tamil it is called elephant. So elephant, Lord Ganesh. Let us keep them positive. Why I'm saying negative positive here? It's very simple. Catabolism means breaking down. So breaking down of substances. Okay. For example, for my uh, breakfast, I'm having idli dosa. Okay. What the idli dosa consists of? The idli dosa consists of starch. The starch is again polysaccharide. The starch will keep on breaking to form glucose because the glucose only cell will accept and convert them into ATP. Okay, so the conversion of a polysaccharide to monosaccharide is called as catabolism, breaking down. Whereas when we consume excess amount of glucose, this glucose we can't utilize, right? Into every glucose, every food we eat cannot be converted into immediate energy because we may not uh, require for that many energy. Rather, this glucose will store into a complex carbohydrate called glycogen. It's a storage polysaccharide. So if it's stored like that, that is called as anabolism. So building up. So catabolism is breaking, whereas anabolism is building. Hope you are clear. Apart from that, other two features. There's 4 and 5 is response to stimulus and consciousness. These are quite self-explanatory, right?